Hello everyone, welcome to Downtown Tailoring. So in our last video, I promised you that I was going to make a video about how to drape on a mannequin. But you know what? Draping is not something that you can learn in a 10 or 15 minutes video. Draping has, a lot of things. But once I heard that if you cannot make a summary of what you know in one page, then you don't know anything about it. So we will see now. So here you go, we have our mannequin. This mannequin is not good for draping, but still we can use it to make the basic part, and I think we will be okay. But first of all, let me tell you something. I know English is my third language, so I don't speak very well English, but you know what draping means, right? Drape is like, right? So we are gonna start this way. Come on. Usually when you want to drape, you want to use a good quality muslin cotton. It's just because it has balance between structure and flexibility. I'm ordering one now, and don't worry, it will come tonight. But in the meantime, we can use this one for me to show you the basic. Before we start draping, there is something very important that I need to show you. Look at that, you see? This is the edge of the fabric, what we will call the selvage, and anything parallel to that edge, we will call it to the grain of the fabric. See? That's the grain. So, depending on the way you have your fabric, the fabric will behave. I'm going now to cut 3 rectangles exactly the same size because I want you to see how the direction of the fabric, the direction mean if it's to the grain or against the grain or bias. We want to know how the direction of the fabric will affect how your garment will look. Okay, so I cut my first rectangle and I'm gonna just draw the grain here so I don't get confused. So this is the grain of the fabric, as I told you, is parallel to the selvage, right? Now I'm gonna cut another rectangle, but instead of parallel to the selvage, I'm gonna go against at 90 degrees. Okay, so this one is pretty much against the grain, right? So I'm just making sure that they are exactly the same size so we can understand better what I want to convey. Now that we have two, one at the grain and another against the grain, now we are going to cut our third one bias. And remember, bias means at 45 degrees, so it comes inclined, right? At 45 degrees from the grain. So the best way for you to know what will be, I'm still marking it. I'm still marking my grain so you can see, but the best way for you to go and know how you can get the grain is folding the two sides of the fabric, and that will give you the angle that you are looking for. And just in case, remember that I have a video very interesting about the little house technique that helps you to manage better the fabric when you are working at bias. So now I have my 3 rectangles. They are exactly the same size except that they are cut in different directions. Okay, so look at this rectangle. The first rectangle, this one is to the grain of the fabric, and I'm gonna put it over the mannequin. And as you can see, it has stability, right? It holds the shape, it looks clean. It's like a when you want something like well done, right? Well, I don't want to say it that way because it's wrong to say it that way, but you know what I mean. Now I'm going to show you my second rectangle. This one is against the fabric, and look at that. You see how in the way it folds at the bottom, it looks like the grain is at the other side. It doesn't seem to have the same feeling. Let me show you again. Against the grain, at the grain. See? Now I'm gonna put on the one that is on bias, and I'm gonna do exactly the same I did before, right? And look at that. You see how it's kind of falling? It's kind of more ethereal if you want, right? I know that sometimes it's a little bit difficult for untrained eyes But this is very important for the feeling you are looking for. Look how this one, the one that is unbiased, it can adapt better to the mannequin. And I have the three of them, one besides the other, and it's very subtle, but there's a difference. So in conclusion, what I wanted to tell you is that when you are draping, the direction of the fabric is one of the first things you have to consider. If I have to summarize it in one sentence, I will say that for garments that need structure, we usually work with the grain. And for garments that need more movement and fluidity, bias can be a better choice. Now I want to show you another important principle of draping. I know that it's difficult to see, but fabric is flat, right? And then if you want to drape a body that has a shape. So what we do with the fabric, so the fabric can take the shape of the body, we do basically two things. As you can see with my hand, I'm just trying to gather the excess of material with dart to give the shape. But let's just do it in the mannequin. Let me just show you. Okay, let's say I'm gonna put my fabric and I'm gonna make sure, again, do you remember what we talk about when we talk about the grain line? I'm gonna make sure now that the mannequin, the center front of the mannequin, is parallel to my grain. Okay, and the first thing that you want to learn is to gather. You're going to gather all the excess of material and you are going to take it into a dart. You see, that's basically the most important. But what happened? Gather is very easy, but as well you have like a kind of a pump. Like you have here in the neckline an inward curve, right? So the fabric cannot adapt to that. So a good exercise that you do on draping is to cut all that excess of fabric, you see, that is not allowing you for the material to fold. It's like exactly when you sew a curve and you have to cut, you are doing exactly the same. You see, I finished with the neckline and then I'm gonna keep, you see, I'm just putting my hands because you don't want a bump, you don't want anything, you want everything smooth and straight, and then I'm pinning. I told you before that this is not the right mannequin because you cannot even pin well in this mannequin, but it will do it. So as you can see, I'm just moving all the excesses of material because I will either gather, cut, I will have to do something. But what I'm looking for is to give to this fabric a nice and smooth surface. So what I did with the inward curve happened exactly with the waist as well, right? Because you have the waist and then you have the hips that are bigger. So you as well are gonna cut the excess of fabric at the waist, almost until the waist, so the fabric can relax and be nice. You see? And as you can see, just like that, we are creating the foundation of the basic bodice. That was easy, huh? My dart has the purpose of accommodate the fabric and make the shape. Every clip I do is just to allow the fabric to be comfortable where it is. So if you want to make a basic pattern now, it's just a matter of marking everything. I'm marking the neckline, I'm marking the center line, the waist. I'm gonna make sure as well to mark the darts, and finally I'm gonna mark the shoulders and the side seam. And pretty much I have my front basic pattern. That was easy, right? So then I didn't receive my fabric in the morning, but it's okay, we still can keep working. The next step, what you're gonna do, I have my pattern here, and as you can see, the center front, the neckline, the armhole, the side seam. So our next step, what you're gonna do is to transfer that onto a real paper, and you can do it two ways. You can use a tracing paper and then just put it on the top, or you can put the paper underneath and use a tracing wheel to mark those lines. I think this way for me, I found it easier. The only thing is that sometimes that can damage your table, but that's okay, right? No big deal. I put always like some piece of paper underneath. As you can see, this is a very interesting way, right? This is how you can take the three-dimensional shape you created in the mannequin and turn it into a flat piece of paper. Here you go. I know that you cannot see very well, but these are my lines. And now pretty much what I'm gonna do is just to mark them so you can see them. I'm using the yellow because these are not gonna be the right lines. I still have to fix them to make sure that it's all okay. I'm using now my ruler. And you know, once you have your basic pattern, you can transform your basic pattern in anything you want. And I know you probably don't have a mannequin at your house that is exactly your size. That's why it's probably is good to take a course on that, right? Are you enjoying this video so far? Make sure to give it a like and comment. Your support boosts this video, which helps me keep sharing free sewing tips. I also have 2 other channels, so make sure to subscribe to them so that you don't miss any posts. If you want to take your sewing to the next level, I've created 2 in-depth e-courses, so don't forget to check them out and keep growing your sewing skills with me. Now I have my fabric. Ta-da! And well, this is a muslin, but this is not my favorite muslin. This one for me is a little bit too dense. Let me show you. Yeah, look at that. You see, I prefer to use this kind of muslin, which is a little bit less dense and still has all the properties and do whatever you need to do, but that's what I have. So, you know, after you do the pattern, then you have to kind of fix it, because like, let's say you see this pattern, you see how the point of the dart, the apex, is like higher than the armhole. Usually that's not true, right? So you either have to raise the armhole a little bit or lower the dart or do both, you know. But there is a mistake here, and this is why after you do your pattern, you have to check the lines, and then what will be correct to do is to cut a piece of fabric and cut it in the muslin and make a new bodice to see if what you have done is okay. You cannot just leave it like that. Oh yes, I did it, I love it. No, you have to confirm that all your job is okay or is not. I kind of fix it a little bit before I confirm it based, you know, on my experience. But you can just try to do it like that and then correct it and then do it again, correct it until you have a good pattern. Well, I know I say like you have to do it 20 times, but it's not like that. So I'm making sure to mark my pattern and mark the darts and mark everything, and I'm gonna cut it. I'm leaving a little bit of the seam allowance, but probably I should have cut it like right in the seam, like in the edge, but it's okay, don't worry. As long as we know what I'm doing, it's all good. So now it's cut, and I'm gonna go to my sewing machine. I'm gonna make sure first that all my points were very well marked so I can sew it well. And I'm going to my sewing machine, and pretty much what I need to do is just to sew the darts and then stay stitch everything just to be sure that it won't lose the shape. And I'm gonna put it on the mannequin to see how it went. And look at that, we did a good basic pattern, but as you can see, it's a little too low. You see, I wasn't really that wrong. I don't know what happened when I was pinning and marking, but now it's a matter to correct it. Now that we know the basic, we can use our draping course for what? To do draping. So in our part 2 of this 3-part course, we are gonna learn how to design our garment and drape it. If you find this video useful or entertaining, please give us a like, give us a hype, and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!